Hey guys, SasaBob here. Today we're going to be talking about TikTok hippies, and that is a rather important distinction, because while regular hippies might believe in things such as free love, non-material possessions, and not being a cult, TikTok hippies do not share these same values, and I promise that cult one will make sense later in the video. So we got 3 different hippie influencers we're going to be taking a look at today, and show just how they've split from their idealistic roots. And what better place to start than the queen of hippie talk herself, my girl, Shannon Blake.
What's up, my little shroomies? I'm gonna hop on here really quick and let you know that freaking every single show sold out.
Okay, so before we get started, elephant in the room. God damn! If all hippie chicks looked like this, I'd be in dreadlocks and a tie-dye shirt so fast it'd make your head spin. But without objectifying her too much, I think we can all agree that she's very conventionally attractive. Not to say she's only famous for being hot, but pretty privilege is a very real thing, and definitely didn't hurt her career, especially when you consider this is how she dresses for her concerts. That's right, I said concerts because, god damn it, of course she's a musician.
I've been chilling in the mountains of Peru, drinking ayahuasca with the shaman stew. Cup of champagne to shift the mood.
But SasaBob, weren't your last 2 videos also about shitty influencer music? I know, okay, I'm sorry. I feel bad, so you know what, I'm gonna make you guys a deal. I will stop making videos about shitty influencer music when influencers stop releasing shitty music, which paradoxically is also never. But before we dive into the lyrical wit of Shannon Blake, I just want to know, why does it look like she's filming all of her TikToks in the goddamn Rainforest Cafe? Upon further inspection, it seems she's living her best #van life because, again, of course she is. But I don't actually think she lives in the van because she has a whole house tour video that we'll look at later, and trust me, it gets a bit spicy.
For all the haters that say that my parents pay for everything, actually I bought this entire house and paid for everything. I'm scared.
Now I will give her some credit because on the surface her songs aren't all that bad. It has a good beat and the lyrics somewhat flow together, but all that breaks down when you take a second and look at the actual lyrics.
I've been learning shit from the aliens, like how we're all connected to the pyramids, and how we used to use them for time traveling.
Whoa, a hippie and a conspiracy theorist? In my book, she just went from a 9 to an 11. But then she'll also say things that are just like straight up harmful.
Kidney infection, I healed that too. I've been doing things your brain can't compute.
What do you mean you healed your kidney infection? I know yoga and meditation are supposed to be good for you, but if you have like, let's say cancer, then I'm sorry, but downward facing dog might not be enough to get the job done. But I argue that's not even the worst part. Get ready, because I'm about to ruin her music for you forever. Because once you notice this one thing, you can't unnotice it. You ready? All of her lyrics are just I statements. Now what exactly do I mean by this? Well, let's just take a look at some of her lyrics. I've been chilling in the mountains of Peru. I've been learning shit from the aliens. I'm well aware that I attract what I allow. It's like she can only sing in the first person, which I guess isn't the biggest deal, but once you notice it, it's really annoying. Do me a favor, just count how many times she says the word I in this next clip.
I'm well aware that I attract what I allow in. I am a vibration, people can tune in. I broadcast, I am love, I am abundance. I am an armor made the golden light, I trust it.
I'm getting some very spiritual vibes from her. Kinda makes me wonder what her spirit animal is. I bet it's some kind of bird. More specifically, I bet it's a culture vulture. That's right, the internet can tolerate a lot of things, but cultural appropriation is not one of them. If you go to the comment sections of any of her videos, the majority of them are just roasting her, calling her a colonizer for saying/wearing different aspects of indigenous cultures. But I don't know, I think I really need a second opinion. Kendrick, what do you think?
No, you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer.
Damn, Kendrick, bold take, but like always, I appreciate your opinion. If I'm being honest, these claims aren't entirely without merit either. She often wears her hair in dreads, which I've never seen a white person ever successfully pull off. Her lyrics also feature many words from different indigenous cultures, as well as having dreamcatcher and third eye imagery everywhere. On top of this, she's always wearing some sort of vaguely tribal looking jewelry too. Which, now that I mention it, holy shit, why is she always wearing like a million different rings and necklaces and shit? It must take her hours to get ready in the morning. I don't even want to try to imagine trying to go through the TSA line with her. In response to all the criticism, she ended up posting a long rant on TikTok saying her great-great-grandfather is actually Native American, so all this is actually okay. But even if that is true, the beauty of America is that it's a melting pot of a million different cultures, right? So even the whitest person you know probably has a little bit of diversity in them. Hell, I'm about as white as Casper the Ghost, and even I'm probably loosely related to someone with a Native American background somehow. But okay, let's say hypothetically she's the whitest Native American to have ever lived. That still doesn't explain why she said this.
Bitch, I'm from the Pleiades, Lauren is the race. See, I came to this earth to bring love, light, and healing.
Now, it's really easy to miss, but she says, I'm from the Pleiades, which is a reference to Nordic aliens who are described as tall Aryans with blonde hair and blue eyes. Then she follows it up by saying, Lauren is the race, which according to a really weird YouTube video I watched means she's a Lauren starseed, or in other words, her soul is from another universe and she's possessing the bodies of one of these ancient Aryan aliens. So I don't know. Which one is it, Shannon? Are you a Native American or an ancient Aryan alien? But it's whatever. It's not like she's made a bunch of money doing this weird stuff that she then used to buy a big house in the woods, right? Right?
Shannon's house here in the woods. That's the lair of Shannon.
Yeah, so she's got this big-ass hippie house in the hills. We're not going to watch the full house tour video as it's kind of just a generic McMansion, but there are a couple key points I want to look at. And of course the video's also got a very questionable like ratio, so you already know it's going to be good.
Hi!
What up? Welcome to my crib.
Who's that?
This is the random guy that just lives in Squishmallows.
What up, random guy?
But before we dive into the full house tour video, I want to quickly talk about this guy real quick. I honestly have no idea who he is. He's featured in a lot of her TikToks though, where in the description she'll say that he's her brother, or sometimes she'll say that he's her cousin. But they seem like really touchy and almost like there's like a little sexual tension between them. So I pray to God this is actually like her boyfriend or baby daddy or something like that.
Greatest of all time. I haven't been in here yet. Oh.
So just for all the haters that say that my parents pay for everything, actually I bought this entire house and paid for everything.
Whoa, back up there, sister. You're kind of scaring me a little bit.
I'm scared.
Yeah, me too.
These are giant crystals we got in Peru. And that we brought back, and then also this condor. Smudger. I love this.
Generic crystals? Check. Ancient shaman tool? Check. A billion more dream catchers in the background? Also check. So what Shannon's holding here is a condor feather. And fun fact, the condor is actually seen as a sacred bird in a lot of South American cultures. So much so that they're even now an endangered species because they've been overhunted to sell these feathers to tourists, which is just so on brand for our girl Shannon here. So from what I can tell, the reason people hate this video so much is because in a lot of Shannon's songs, she preaches about being humble and the importance of non-material possessions, all while being fully engrossed in blatant consumerism herself. Personally, I'm not judging though. I'm a helpless slave to capitalism as much as the next guy, but for a hippie, partaking in this kind of lifestyle is kind of seen as a cardinal sin. Frankly, I'm just surprised she can afford a house in this economy. I feel like nowadays you need 2 jobs just to afford anything. What's that? She has a second job? Oh, it's porn? Yeah, that makes sense. That's right, your girl's got an OF page. You remember back in the 80s when hippies were all about free love? Your girl Shannon saw that and said, nah, that'll be $10.99. And I want to be clear, I'm not hating on her for having an OF page. Frankly, I respect the grind. Get that bag, sister. But I'm just amazed by the absolute cognitive dissonance between her singing about how she's an enlightened being, another plane of existence, but then also being like, $10 see my boobies though. I feel like this section of the video is getting a little long, so let's just wrap this whole Shannon Blake thing up in one big bow. In conclusion, Shannon Blake is essentially just taking a bunch of different aspects of indigenous cultures and fusing it into this hippie persona that she then packages as a product and a brand to sell to her fans, all while doing the exact opposite of the things she preaches about in her lyrics by being egotistical and practicing in consumerism. Or in other words, she's a fake hippie. But remember, this isn't just a Shannon Blake video, we got more TikTok hippies to talk about, like these goofy goobers.
These roads of flames are catching a fire.
Do you guys remember a couple of minutes ago when I said I've never seen a white person pull off dreadlocks? Yeah, I absolutely still stand by that statement. Probably even more now. Seriously, these look awful. Whoever fucked up your guys' shit with these haircuts should legitimately be in jail. I mean, you should hit me up. I know a guy, he'll get you looking fresh, trust me. So this is Rafa. She's basically just TikTok famous for dancing in a Scooby-Doo haunted mansion. That's it.
These roads of flames are catching a fire.
This is actually kind of a cool room. My only question is, how is this not a huge fire hazard? Seriously, 1 second you're smoking a joint in your blanket fort, and the next your blanket fort's smoking you. But her fire hazard of a bedroom isn't the only thing getting roasted, as 90% of her comments are just hate comments saying you can't be a real hippie and live in a mansion. Which, if we look at hippie culture as a philosophy, is true. However, if we take a more practical perspective, a lot of the original hippies came from middle and upper class backgrounds and assumed the lifestyle to rebel against their parents. So in a way, she might be an even more authentic hippie than Shannon Blake. Admittedly though, this whole section of the video is kind of just a palate cleanser before we head into the more culty dessert of this video.
The garden is an off-grid, intentional community. It is one of the most truly egalitarian, intentional communities that I've ever found.
Obviously, you know, I'm gonna ask, is this place a cult?
Oh, no. I mean, of course, like, that's what a cult would say.
So for context, a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about happened like 3 years ago, but guess what? I didn't make YouTube videos 3 years ago, so we're going to be talking about it right now. A couple of years ago, this commune called The Garden ended up going viral on TikTok, and on the surface, it just looked like a bunch of hippies in the middle of nowhere trying to make a sustainable community.
Our mission is simple: to be self-sustainable, therefore stewards of the earth, to create a network of like-minded communities to showcase this way of life around the whole world.
But as the spotlight on them grew ever brighter, people started to notice that things were kind of weird.
Julia, do we live in a cult?
I don't think so.
Brian, do we live in a cult?
Of course it is.
Do we live in a cult? Do we? Alright, she's not.
Alright, so let's meet the main characters of this particular anime. First up, we got Rel, who's the final boss of Bad Dreadlocks. I mean, seriously, it's like you didn't even try to watch the first half of this video. Secondly, we have your boy Tree, and I'm gonna be honest, I tried so hard to think of a joke about how his name was Tree, but for the life of me, I just couldn't come up with them. Frankly, I'm completely stumped. Oh, hey, yeah, there it is. Okay, never mind, we can keep moving on. Both of them ended up creating viral content to promote the garden, but they went about it in, let's say, different ways.
Does this sound like a cult? Provide land to individuals, families, and travelers to learn, teach, and experiment in a variety of sustainable and self-sufficient living skills.
If you don't know how to start a fire, I can teach you. I can show you the way of the woods.
While Tree was doing his best to convince people that the garden wasn't a cult, Rel seemed to weirdly feed off the negativity, even playing into it by making several jokes about drinking the Kool-Aid.
Here you go, Julia.
Thanks, bro.
Quick, drink it. Drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid, guys. Quickly.
What's happening?
But then in the Vice documentary about the garden, she ended up saying this.
I think it's obviously creepy, like theatrical creepy. But I think that might have twisted the vibration of the crowd maybe a little bit. I didn't necessarily mean to twist them in that way.
Allow me to be your hippie translator. She's basically trying to say that she didn't mean for people to interpret her videos as creepy/culty. But it's like, what are you smoking? Of course people are going to interpret it like that. Your videos aren't some Robert Frost poem that your English teachers can make you overanalyze. So of course people are going to take it at face value. But your boy Tree ain't perfect either. If you watch any of the documentaries, you definitely get the sense that he's seen as a sort of like well-respected elder of the community. But when asked about it, he always downright refuses to hold any type of leadership position, either officially or unofficially, essentially allowing him to have all the benefits of leadership without any of the additional responsibility that those roles call for.
Are you like a cult leader?
No, I'm not a cult leader. I have tried to stray away from leader-based format systems my whole life.
But with all this new attention, there are bound to be some controversies because, you know, a weird hippie cult might be bound to do some weird things. Like, for example, when they killed and ate a cat.
There was a wild cat that was attacking the chickens. If something's attacking your livestock, you have to kill it. So that's what happened. And then because they don't believe in waste, the people that were here at the time ate it.
Guys, I hate to break it to you, but that's not usually what people mean when they say eating pussy. It gets even weirder though, because Rel then took the skin from that cat and turned it into a hat of all things.
Was it hard to make a hat out of the cat? No, it was actually like the hide of the cat it like was the perfect size to fit right around my head is.
I can only imagine she was really stoned reading Dr. Seuss and thought, Cat in the Hat. No, what if the cat was the hat? So there's a lot of weird stuff going on here, but let's bring it back to the title of the video. So is the garden a cult or just weird hippies? Now, you might argue that those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, but I'll also like to argue that real hippies probably wouldn't kill and eat a cat. All jokes aside though, I don't actually think the garden is a cult, but it definitely has some cult-like aspects to it. The garden is already made up of people who live alternate lifestyles and probably feel like outcasts in modern society, and I fear all it would take would be a charismatic leader with malicious intentions to turn this already isolated group of people into a full-on extremist group. Despite all the hippie jokes I've made in this video, I don't actually hate hippies. I actually enjoy some of the same things they like. For example, I often partake in the devil's lettuce and even sometimes unironically do yoga because I got bad knees. Wait a minute. Was I a hippie the whole time?
You were the chosen one!
SasaBob.
It was said that you would destroy this,
Hippies.
not join them!
The whole hippie philosophy does sound pretty good on paper though, being based on love and peace, but I fear it might be a little bit too idealistic for this modern day climate, hence why you see so many fake hippies online who've been corrupted by greed and fame. Speaking of which, if you liked the video, then make sure to hit that like button so hopefully one day I too can be corrupted by greed and fame. Otherwise, if you really like the video, then consider smashing that subscribe button for even more internet shenanigans. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out. See you guys in the next one.